My claim is that we have radically underestimated what a book is. Most people think reading is information transfer, and that's wrong. Reading is not data acquisition, it's voluntary transformation. Okay, so if you think reading is about knowledge, you'll stop when you can Google. Why would you go out of your way to buy a book? If you understand that it's restructuring your psyche, you'll never stop. You'll always be able to pull something new out of the same book. Okay, so here's the modern problem. We live in an age of infinite information, but we are not drowning in ignorance, right? We're drowning in shallowness. Everything is kept surface level. Information without integration produces arrogance. Right? So reading without reflection produces trivia. So if you're not reflecting and making notes and writing down what you read, not only are you more likely to forget, yes, but you don't know how to actually use the information you've read. The real crisis at that point is not that people don't know enough, it's that they haven't metabolized what they know. So, this is what a book is to me. A book is compressed human experience. It's 20, 40 years of someone's struggle, and it's organized. It's calculated, it's laid out in a way that we can actually process. You're temporarily inhibited by a mind that's not yours. That's not knowledge, that's perspective expansion. Now here is a mythological or psychological layer of it. So stories are not just entertainment. Absolutely, they can be entertainment. Yes. But you can do so much more with that book. They're simulations of catastrophe and redemption. When you read Dostoevsky, you confront chaos voluntarily. When you read philosophy, you test your assumptions against centuries of arguments and people who are good at it too. You're rehearsing moral decisions and you don't have to pay the price. Reading is a psychological training. Okay, so here's the cognitive rewiring argument that I have. Reading strengthens attention. Attention is the gateway to meaning. What you attend to determines what you perceive. What you perceive determines what you act on, and what you act on determines who you become. So reading is not about knowing more. It's now about becoming more precise in what you aim at, because you now know out of simulations of centuries of different people who are very smart and calculated, you know what could be with action. So the contrast with passive consumption, all right, here it is. Scrolling is reactive. Think about how many times you go on your phone and you go from one app to the next app to the next app to the text messaging to videos, right? It's reactive. You can scroll, get information and go to the next thing and you instantly forget the information. Reading is very deliberate. You know, there's a very popular quote, where attention goes, energy flows. So put your attention and make it deliberate with reading. Hone that information. Scrolling fragments attention, reading consolidates it. So if you actually want to read something, my argument is get a book and actually read it, highlight it, make notes. That's how you remember. A fragmented mind can't aim, and a person who can't aim lives accidentally. Let that breathe for a second. If you're not where you want to be in life, if you're not doing what you want to do, look at what you're doing. Are you scrolling aimlessly? Are you making good choices? Are you or are you putting really good effort into learning something new and understanding different perspectives and simulations? And one of my favorite concepts of it all is that reading confronts ideas stronger than your current position. It's almost like an act of humility. You're admitting, damn, I might be wrong. That's not weakness, that's courage. That's very courageous to say, this new information brought to me is so compelling and different, I can admit, maybe I'm wrong. Take that hard-headed ego out of here. It obviously hasn't done you very much good. If you're reading and you forget what you're reading, it's because take to this advice. If it's not working so far, try this. The person who refuses to read traps themselves inside their own unexamined assumptions. That's a very small psychological room. You know what? Let me share a couple books with you that are fictional and yet still can have that depth that I'm referring to. All right, so one of my favorite is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's an amazing, on the surface level, it's a simple story about a shepherd's boy. And you dig deeper, and you'll find universal truths about following your dreams and reading the signs that life presents to you. Or another one's called 1984 by George Orwell. All right, political commentary, classic, explores deep questions for truth, freedom, human nature, etc. And if you want to hit it in a weird, deep way, using Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment is phenomenal. It's a psychological thriller, explores morality, redemption, consequences of our actions. It's phenomenal. All right. I think he also has one called The Brothers something. I haven't read it yet, but I heard a lot of people like it. And here's the thing. You can go for other books, non-fictional books as well, right? Like the Psychology of Money is phenomenal. What's it called? There's one called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. That book is going to get you over the moon. Or what's another one? You can go to The Butterfly Effect. There's a book called The Butterfly Effect. The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. There's a lot of books out there where you can read it, and it does give you information, perspectives that can change your entire life. And another really cool point is if you reread a book years later, you'll be able to see your own growth real time. And you can see how much you've changed. And if you're really not the kind of person who would be able to read non-fictional, fictional books are incredible. It's almost like they increase your empathy because you get attached to the character and you see the decision making, you see their thought process, and you simulate other interior lives into yourself. It's just phenomenal. So the point I'm trying to make is there's way more complexity to books than just reading them. Absolutely, you can use it. It's a great way to fall asleep because sometimes when your eyes get tired, your body wants to shut down. So absolutely, you can surface level that. But if you want to make change in your life, please try reading actively. There's so much depth to books. You can grow in life by suffering blindly or study the suffering of others to avoid it yourself. Reading allows you to suffer intelligently, and that's mercy. So this is my closing challenge, my moral challenge. If you don't read, you outsource your thinking. If you outsource your thinking, you outsource your direction. And if you outsource your direction, you will resent where you end up. So reading is not only self-improvement, we can use it as self-construction. You are building the architecture of your mind. You have to choose carefully.